Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, we're here. So I would like to officially welcome everyone to the Latinx Graduates Recognition Ceremony. And we are actually going to start off by seeing two additional welcomes from both our Chancellor and Dr. Ashley Brown. So I invite you to be in community, sit back, relax, and enjoy these remarks. Thank you so much to all of you for being here.
Congratulations, and welcome to the celebration of Vanderbilt's class of 2021. Today we recognize your remarkable achievements and your unique contribution to Vanderbilt's vibrant culture. I'm excited to honor this rite of passage with all of you as the next phase of your journey in the world begins. You have all stepped up to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Yet I know Vanderbilt's Latinx community has been deeply affected by the challenges of the past year, including social injustice and the inequalities experienced throughout the course of the pandemic. Your Vanderbilt family stands with you in support now and always. As Vanderbilt graduates and educated citizens of the world, it is urgent that we draw on the values of learning and discovery to address this moral crisis around racial prejudice and inequality. Congratulations again to our newest graduates. I wish you great joy and success on the path ahead.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos. Good afternoon and welcome to Vanderbilt University's Raíces y Sueños Latinx Graduates Recognition Ceremony. My name is Dr. Ashley Brown, Director of the Student Center for Social Justice and Identity, and I'm honored to welcome you to today's ceremony. We are grateful that you've joined us. Whether you're the graduate, family member, or friend, we appreciate you for joining us in person or virtually to celebrate these students and their families, achievements, and journeys. Although this year is different, we are excited to celebrate everyone in the best ways possible. Before we begin, I'd like to say a few words. This year's theme is Raíces y Sueños, Roots and Dreams. This theme reminds us of two aspects of our identity, which are constantly informing our decisions: who we are, or what our roots are. Where do we want to go? And what do we want to achieve? These questions are both complex and complicated, but they're ever present. If we think about it, to have roots and dreams almost sounds contradictory because our dreams often require us to leave a place where we all are rooted or our roots originated. I'm sure this theme speaks to you in very different ways, but I hope that after your years here, you've realized that these roots of ours were meant to build bridges and not keep us from pursuing our dreams. Thanks to our roots, dreams, and families, these accomplishments and journeys we celebrate today are possible. Students, I'd like to extend a moment where we can give a round of applause to all the family and friends that are joining us virtually.
Thank you to both Chancellor Diermeyer and Dr. Ashley Brown. To offer greetings and context for the significance of today's ceremony, it is now my honor to invite to the stage Professor Gretchen Selke. Gretchen is the director of the Latino and Latina Studies program at Vanderbilt University. In addition to her role at Vanderbilt, she serves on the board of El Jardín de los Niños, a nonprofit bilingual preschool serving East Nashville. Her research interests include Latinx literature and culture, Afro-Hispanic literature, and Latinx entrepreneurship. As a Library Dean's Fellow for the Manuel Zapata Olivella Special Collections Correspondence at the Jean and Alexander Hurd Library, she helped create an online exhibit of representative correspondence and documents from 4 linear feet of Zapata Olivella's personal archives. Currently, she's working on a book-length manuscript on contemporary Latinx narratives. In addition, Professor Selke serves on the editorial board of the Afro-Hispanic Review. And before you start clapping, I'm going to clean the mic because we're switching speakers. So I'll let you know when to clap. Please join me in welcoming Professor Gretchen Selke to the stage. Now you can clap.
Hello. Congratulations, graduates. Bienvenidos y felicitaciones. My name is Gretchen Selke, and I am the Director of Latino and Latina Studies at Vanderbilt University. I am honored to be part of this 5th annual celebration that serves to celebrate and recognize your years of hard work. This is a moment for reflection, and I hope that all of you feel a sense of accomplishment and pride. I would like to give a special welcome to all of your parientes who are watching from near and far. I got notes about people watching from Chile and from Argentina, so we really appreciate you and hope that you're cheering at the television. Thank you to Executive Director of Conexión Américas, Juliana Ospina-Cano, Vice Provost William Robinson, Director of the Provost's Office for Inclusive Excellence, Franklin Ellis, Dean Frank Dobson, Dean John Gear, Dean Emily Towns, Professor Lorraine Lopez, Turner Family Center Director Mario Avila, SCSJI Director Ashley Brown, SCSJI Program Coordinator Anto Valdivia, ALA Senior Ana Torres, and the members of the Latinx Graduates Recognition Ceremony Committee. Without you, none of this would have been possible. Graduates, today I urge you to remember las raíces, the roots and histories that ground you. Let them nourish and inform your dreams. Déjense soñar. Soñar is a tricky verb, after all. It connotes imagining what is not yet realized. It is only the 4th listed meaning in the Real Academia Española of the verb that means what it means in English. An intransitive verb defined as anhelar persistentemente algo. It is this meaning, to persistently long for something, that I hope you hold close. Graduating students, as your names are read, the people who love and support you will beam. You are their dreams realized. As a parent myself of 2 young children, Belen and Lucia, this day takes on new meaning as I imagine someday looking at my own girls in their caps and gowns on an occasion such as this. Days like today also invite reflection on what has been accomplished and what is yet to come. It is a moment of what Chicanx writer and scholar Gloria Anzaldúa calls a Nepantla state, a place of transition and in-betweenness. You may be feeling a sense of uneasiness. Embrace it. According to Anzaldúa, Nepantla is, quote, the space between 2 worlds, end quote, where one is situated in the midst of transition from one identity to the next. Nepantla is the intersection between who one was in the past, is now in the present, and will be in the future. To reside within a state of Nepantla is to harness the place where productivity flows. One achieves what Anzaldúa calls la facultad, a heightened sense of awareness in which the individual sees a deeper reality of themselves. May you find Nepantla today and this weekend. I hope that you learn to reside between your roots and dreams in this Nepantla state, to harness both raíces and sueños to find your own paths. We are counting on you, La Clase del 2021, to use the tools you have developed at Vanderbilt University to help solve the challenges we face. In Nashville alone, 1 in 5 kindergartners speak Spanish at home, and yet less than 5% of their teachers are comfortable even communicating a little bit in Spanish. Even less report feeling knowledgeable in cultures or traditions that are different from their own. As Latinx numbers grow, we must work to make sure that we are represented in ways that matter and have a place at the table that determines policy and resource allocation. This is your calling. We are counting on you to demand that our voices are heard. I urge you to continue connections begun at Vanderbilt to build the kind of future that supports the next generation of students like you. Thank you so much, muchas gracias, and congratulations to the class of 2021. El tema de este año es Raíces y Sueños, or Roots and Dreams. Este tema nos hace reflejar sobre los dos aspectos de nuestra identidad que informan nuestras decisiones. ¿Quiénes somos o cuáles son nuestras raíces y a dónde queremos llegar? ¿Qué es lo que queremos conseguir? Estas preguntas están cargadas y complicadas, pero siempre están presentes. De alguna manera, tener raíces y sueños casi parece contradictorio, porque nuestros sueños suelen exigir que nos mudemos, que nos vayamos del lugar del origen de nuestras raíces. Sin embargo, sin estas raíces no es posible soñar. Estoy segura de que este tema nos afecte de diferentes maneras, pero espero que después de haber pasado años en esta universidad, se hayan dado cuenta de que nuestras raíces existen para crear puentes y no para impedir que persigamos nuestros sueños. Muchas gracias, felicitaciones, enhorabuena. Thank you. De una latina limpiando en una ceremonia así, pero ya está.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias, Professor Selke, for those beautiful words. And with that, I would now like to introduce our keynote speaker for the ceremony this year. Juliana Ospina Cano is the Executive Director of Conexión Américas, the leading Latinx serving nonprofit in Tennessee, whose mission is to build a welcoming community and create opportunities where Latinx families can belong, contribute, and succeed. Under Cano's leadership, Conexión Américas responded to a number of national and local crises, including the 2020 tornado and the COVID-19 pandemic. To address the needs of the Latinx community in Tennessee, Conexión Américas launched a campaign to address the critical health, educational, economic impacts of COVID-19 for Latinx and immigrant origin families across the state, including the need for equitable healthcare access and vaccine distribution. In 2020-2021, Cano was named 40 under 40 for the Nashville Business Journal and recognized as a leader of change. She is part of the Future Leaders Connect network with the British Council and a 2020 Mosaic Fellow. Cano holds a Bachelor of Arts from Kennesaw State University and a Master of Science in Education from the Johns Hopkins University, where she is also pursuing a doctoral degree in education. Please join me in welcoming her to the stage. And again, let's go ahead and clap after I wipe the microphone. Everyone, Juliana Ospina Cano.
Good afternoon, buenas tardes a todos, a todas, y a todas las familias en línea, distinguished faculty, students, parents, guardians, mamás, papás, abuelos, and to all of those who made today possible for us to be here to celebrate you. One of my dearest mentors and one amazing role model always says to me, and has always said, "El sol sale para todos." And every time she would say that, and every time I hear her say that, a lot comes to mind. But in my mind and in my heart, they take me to history lessons, the told and untold history lessons, the desayunos en casa, early in the morning with café con leche, or just cereal when we moved to this country almost 21 years ago. Today, I think about all the families getting ready for a new day. Today, I think about some of us walking to our offices, walking to our desks, you walking to campus or to your computer, and to many of our families who are risking their lives so we can be here. Every time I hear El Sol Sale para Todos, I keep thinking about my identity and what led me to be here today. And now that has become my mantra. I'm reminded of the magic and the beauty that happens every morning when the sun comes out, cuando el sol sale para todos. And how many of our parents and our ancestors look up and also remember how the sun is coming out in their country of origins. I also picture you, Latinx Vanderbilt graduates, contemplating and figuring out in 2020 and 2021 how you were going to submit that last paper, schedule that last meeting with your advisor, be there for your family, contextualizing and explaining what the pandemic and the realities we were facing, and also contemplating the priorities of our current world. I also think about the mornings that many of you relied with or without knowing on the lessons and the raíces of your family, your cultura, and those pieces that instilled in you the person that you are today graduating. I also think about the mornings when many of us did our homework while also translating and doing our homework in the car. Also, taking our parents to the doctor's appointments, listening to our abuelos, and now telling their stories, writing their stories, talking about our stories, all while unpacking the complicated yet beautiful history of resilience of the Latinx narrative in the United States. You see, we could debate the X in the Latinos and Latinas for days, but I love it. I really like that X. I like it because it opens a conversations about raíces y sueños. It opens a conversation and a dialogue because it includes a history and a story about our past, our present, and more importantly, a pursuit of a more inclusive future for you and for my children. Latinx graduates, you are graduating in the middle of a pandemic, when we cannot unsee what we have seen and when we cannot remain silent when society needs us. We need you. I recognize that I speak from a place of privilege because while I am an immigrant, I am a college-educated immigrant speaking to you using the English language and a person like you who had the opportunity and the privilege to be in classrooms where debates and they were accepted, where disagreements were allowed, where critical thinking was encouraged, where we engage with literature and text, we challenge narratives and explore our own identity while also embracing other identities. But that privilege is that we share that del sol sale para todos, but it's a narrative that began way before today. I think about that magical realism, and yes, in 2021, I can wholeheartedly say that there is magic in the Latinx history and story. We have this beautiful superpower, a beautiful way of embracing the sun and making the most out of anything, making the most out of nothing. You see, it started way before today, and I always think about Sylvia Mendez and her family in California. When his daughter, Sylvia, was turned away from school because of her background. It was a landmark desegregation case in 1946 that really allowed for all of us to be here today. The struggle and the continuation for that pursuit continues for equal opportunity for all of us. It is a struggle and a fight of a father looking out for her children and honoring our own version of that American dream. A father like the one who walked to Conexión Américas at the beginning of the pandemic at one of our weekly food distribution events. It was in March of 2020 when I probably sent the most daunting email of my career in my professional life. We were closing the building to the public to take care of each other, the Latino and Latina families in Tennessee. But the work didn't end there, quite the contrary. We pursued and repurposed our building. We listened to the Latinx community. We listened to our own stories, my stories, en español y en inglés, and we responded. We adapted, and we were there for all Tennessee families. There was one day when we shut down an entire section of Nolensville Pike because we had over 500 families lined up to pick up food at Conexión Américas. And in that moment, I realized that there was a man approaching our building. He had his mask, he was wearing a uniform, and he walked towards me, and he said, "Buenos días." When I looked at him, my first thought was, uy, we're not prepared for people walking to our building in a pandemic. And I thought, I wonder how can I help him? I wonder what can we do with him? In his tired eyes, I saw a conviction that reminded me of my own immigrant parents, and perhaps of Sylvia's ancestors. As he walked to our building, he said to me, "Escuché que aquí pueden ayudarme. I heard that you can help me." And he was right. In this 12 months, and I can't believe it has been over a year now, we have prepared over 35,000 meals that have fed individuals, Latinx families impacted by the pandemic, voters standing in line to cast their vote, and families in need, all from our kitchen here in Conexión Américas. We have distributed over $1.5 million in direct cash assistance to immigrant origin families, mainly women, mainly mamas impacted by COVID-19. That man was right. When I saw him, I saw the sun coming out. I saw you, Latinx graduates, graduating today. I saw your parents and your ancestors getting ready for this moment and what's to come. I said to him, "Bienvenido a casa." You see, all those mornings when you were having breakfast and getting ready to go to school, to go to college, many of us either knew or didn't know the struggle that led our parents and our ancestors to be here and to be there. To the quinceañera with a limited budget, with family gatherings that requiring saving extra money, un poquito más, another shift, more money, let's make it happen. With family gatherings and moms and dads putting their best outfits, and I'm sure many of you are doing that right now wherever you are. Many of you and your parents going to that parent-teacher conference, or maybe now a meeting with your advisor in English in a country that you're learning how to navigate. Saving, and many of us risking everything to move and thrive in the United States. And now you are here today. Today marks the continuation of that journey. Your time has come to use your voices and your talent, that privilege that I spoke of, and investing it in the arts, in science, in medicine, in politics, in education. And think about those memories, those skills learned in your classroom, now virtual classroom, those hard conversations with your advisors, family, and friends, maybe that piece of literature in class that challenged you, or that moment in 2020 that shook you to the core, of that song that reminded you that the sun eventually comes out. We are truly our ancestors' wildest dreams, and not because we're here, but because of what we have experienced together as Latinos, Latinas in the Latinx community. So as you graduate this weekend, enjoy this moment to the fullest. Dance to that song, especially if it's salsa, cumbia, merengue, and even reggaeton. Create that magical realism, esa magia coupled with resilience, and start buckling up for a world that needs you, all of you. El sol sale para todos, and you can create that reality for yourself and those who aspire for an education and an opportunity like ours, for more Latinx students graduating next year in generations to come. Work extra hard to honor those who made it possible for us to be here today. Our work doesn't end here because the challenges we are facing require all of us. from climate crises to economic prosperity, racial justice to migration, and to build more chairs for Latinx students like us. Use your voice and your talents, get your café con leche or whatever it is that grounds you in your values to move forward in life. You are graduating in the middle of a global pandemic. And while we might be here, and I'm not wearing my mask right now, most of us are vaccinated, but the world still needs more equitable access to the vaccine, especially in our countries of origin. And remember, not everything is a battle. Conversations lead to progress, and you can be part of that change. You actually already are. I thank you for this honor, and I look forward to seeing the magic you will create when the sun comes out tomorrow. Muchísimas, muchísimas gracias y felicidades desde el fondo de mi corazón.
Thank you so much, Juliana. Muchas gracias, Juliana. Those were beautiful words, and I know they resonated with a lot of us. It is now my honor to introduce our student speaker, Ana Torres, for the Latinx Graduates Recognition Ceremony 2021. Ana Torres is a graduating senior with a major in molecular and cellular biology with honors and a minor in French. During her time at Vanderbilt, she has served in the Association of Latin American Students Executive Board for 4 years. She was president her junior year and senior advisor her senior year. Ana has also been an advocate for the Latin American community in Nashville by interpreting at Shade Tree Clinic, a volunteer clinic for the uninsured. Ana is from Spring Hill, Florida, and has ties to Honduras. She will be attending medical school in the fall in hopes to become an immunologist. Ana pours her heart and soul into each project and always looks for the potential in every opportunity. I know this because I've had the privilege to advise her for the last 3 years. Por eso, she is the perfect person to give our student address this year. As we welcome her to the stage to share her reflections, please join me in applause and thank her for her leadership over the past 4 years to the Vanderbilt community. Everyone, Ana Torres.
Hello, everyone. It is an honor to be graduating with you all and to stand before you as your student speaker. Many of us have spent a lot of time together throughout these past 4 years, and some of us have never met. However, we have all gathered here today because we share an important identity, Latinidad. This beautiful identity is so complex that it remains hard to define. For me, being Latina has meant that I have a big and loud familia, a forever welcoming comunidad, and unconditional amor. This year has been proof of that to me because every time I feel overwhelmed and hopeless, my parents were one phone call away. I'm sure many of you know the feeling of your WhatsApp family group chat blowing up when you're in class. Carrying a Latin identity has been an honor, even through the hard times. It was easy for us to stand out at Vanderbilt, yet we decided to embrace this uniqueness every day. We shared our culture with the Vanderbilt community, by putting on vibrant events, playing our music through RAND, and voicing our opinions to administration on the issues that mattered the most to us. As we have witnessed this year, no one is immune from trials and tribulations. This past year, we have witnessed the COVID pandemic and countless other hardships. However, like our ancestors, we have remained strong by sticking through it together. Two words that summarize my undergraduate experience, and I hope will resonate with you, are resilience and perseverance. Resilience is what helps us to recover quickly from difficulties. For us as students, it is finding out that an experiment you worked on for 2 months was ruined on the last step, yet you decided to learn from what went wrong and tried again. For the generations before us, it was starting over in a new country, learning a whole new language, and immersing themselves into a different culture. Perseverance is the continued effort to achieve something despite difficulties. It is knowing that you just took a biochemistry exam, but still have to turn in 2 more papers before you can let out a sigh of relief. Our generations before us had to persevere too. They endured many political changes in this and other countries, as well as persevered to get us to college by working tirelessly for us. I would like for you all to reflect on the many times you have had to be resilient or perseverant throughout your undergraduate experience, because I am sure it occurred many times. In this moment, it might be difficult to recall those times, because when put into perspective, hard work pays off, and it was all worth it. For me, I had to deal with the uncertainty of not knowing if my MCAT score and GPA were good enough to attend medical school. But today I celebrate because I will be starting in the fall, and I know that my sleepless nights of studying were worth it. I would love to acknowledge God for being my anchor during my lowest points of my undergraduate career, as well as dedicate all my accomplishments to Him. We are here wearing our caps and gowns and celebrating our hard work and achievement, but I would love for you to realize that these joyful moments are not possible without hardships. So treasure this feeling so that when you are in a difficult chapter of your life, you remember how wonderful it is to reap the rewards of hard work. Finally, a word of advice that my father gave me during finals week was to enjoy the good moments as they come, because each day brings its own challenges. Do not obsess yourself with the fear of the future. Instead, make the best of each day, and do not forget that you are not alone. Look at your peers and think about your loved ones. We are strong together. In my family, when one person is down, whether it is financially or emotionally, we're always there to pick them up. My tios and tias have all treated me like their own daughter, and I'm so thankful for that. Our parents and the generations before them have sacrificed so much so that we could be here where we are today. My father and mother left their successful careers in Honduras because they knew my sisters and I would have a better education here. At this time, I would like to honor my parents for their unconditional love and support. Thanks to your selfless sacrifices, you gave me a life full of blessings and opportunities. I promise to keep making you proud. Thank you to my abuelita in Florida, mis abuelos in Honduras, and my many tios, tias, and cousins. Thank you to my friends who hold a very dear place in my heart, to my mentor, Ann Tate, for guiding me through my research, and to Antonella and the SCSJI team for your wonderful and important work for the cultural groups on campus. Finally, thank you to my peers for being resilient and perseverant. I wish you all so much success in your future endeavors. And congratulations, class of 2021.
Thank you so much, Anna. Those were beautiful, beautiful words. As we continue with the rest of our program, we'll be giving out student awards and then presenting the stoles to the graduates. As the person who will be doing that, I feel it best to introduce myself. I'm Antonella Valdivia, Program Coordinator in the Student Center for the Social Justice and Identity, and I'm honored to be doing this today for you all. To celebrate that resilient Latinidad, this year's ceremony features 2 student awards, with recipients selected through an extensive nomination process and decided by the Latinx Graduates Recognition Ceremony Planning Committee. The first award is the Student Leadership Award, presented to a graduating student who has demonstrated excellence in leadership during their Vanderbilt experience. During their time at Vanderbilt, this year's recipient began their involvement with the Association of Latin American Students, ALAS, as recruitment chair, successfully helping the group carry out their annual event, Café con Leche, with over 500 guests as the special events co-chair. Eventually, as president, they had interim chancellor and provost Susan Wente in attendance for their Hispanic Heritage Month speaker event and successfully mobilized VSG's resolution to formally acknowledge Hispanic Heritage Month. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to present this award and recognize Ana Torres as this year's Student Leadership Award recipient. The next award is titled the Semillas Award, presented to a graduating student who has had a significant impact on the Latinx community and/or helped to plant seeds of social change, hope, and connection through substantial community service and/or meaningful contributions during their Vanderbilt experience. Our 2021 graduate made the most of their time as a student and graduate assistant during their time at Vanderbilt. They've engaged their degree program, internships, organizations, professors, colleagues, and ideas with intentionality, respect, curiosity, and drive. Their ability to make meaningful connections between people and critical conversations about equity, diversity, and inclusion have been highlights to witness through their involvement in Narrative 4, creating the Bingo Project, and more. Their impact has been felt and will be missed as they continue to cultivate their passion for supporting students as a school counselor. This year's graduate student recipient is Oscar Guzman. Oscar, unfortunately, could not be here today, actually because he's currently in his role as a school counselor right now. But we wanted to acknowledge him regardless of him not being able to be here. The Semillas Award also has a 2021 undergraduate recipient. And the recipient for this year constantly makes a voice and a space for those who are typically overshadowed and has done an amazing job this year as the ALAS Vice President. They are constantly looking for better ways to advocate for the Latinx community on and off campus and are willing to have tough conversations with anybody, including myself. This year in particular, they consistently made it a point to involve and highlight intersectional identities within the community, specifically asking for there to be a more Afro-Latinx representation in ALAS programming and advocacy. I have had the immense privilege and honor to advise this student for the last 3 years, and seeing her immense growth is something that I am truly inspired by every single day. It is our honor to present Maria Loaiza Bonilla with our 2021 Undergraduate Semillas Award. I do want to acknowledge that there is one other award that we would like to give this year, and it is the Maestro Award, Maestro Maestra Award, presented to a faculty, staff, or administrator who has supported Latinx students during their Vanderbilt experience. While our recipient could not be here today, I think it's important to still acknowledge her work and her presence. This year's award will be going to Dr. Lorraine Lopez. Congratulations again to the recipients of these awards. At this time, we are going to begin la presentación de stoles, the presentation of stoles. I would like to invite each of the graduating students to stand up row by row, so the first one first, and once the first one sits back down, then the second, and then so on and so forth. Each of their names will be called, and you will see on the screen that they are honoring a family member that would have presented them with their stole in a normal year without a pandemic. This year, we honor those family members that are watching virtually and have asked the students to submit a photo of said family member, and you will be able to see that on the screen. Graduates, please stand. Please join me in celebrating wherever you are these graduates as we present them with their stole. If they'll begin walking towards our amazing committee member, Will de los Santos, I will begin calling their names. And first up is Isabel Elsa Acosta, a Bachelor in Arts and Neuroscience and Latin American Studies. Isabel will be starting a career in community mental health services. Congratulations. Up next, we have Maria Fernanda Aguilera from Houston, Texas, with a Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education and Mathematics. Maria will be starting graduate school at the University of Notre Dame. Up next, we have Isabela Maria Brown from Santa Maria, California. With a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, Isabela will be starting graduate school at Marquette University. Up next, we have Stella Rena Thompson Sea from Memphis, Tennessee, getting a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, Spanish, and Gender and Sexuality Studies. Stella will be starting graduate school at Boston College. Next, we have Alexa Nicole Garcia from Miami, Florida, earning a Bachelor of Arts in Medicine, Health, and Society. Alexa will be starting a job as a medical scribe while applying to medical school. Next, we have Michael Joseph Gonsalves from Miami, Florida, earning a Bachelor of Arts in Neuroscience and Spanish. Michael will be starting medical school at the University of Virginia. Up next, we have Marty John Grady Jr. from Deerfield Beach, Florida, earning a Bachelor of Science in Human and Organizational Development. Marty will be starting a role at Google. Next, we have Ariel Alejandro Herrera from Las Vegas, Nevada, earning a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Mathematics. Ariel will be taking a gap year. Up next, we have Stacy Holly Horton from Lenoir City, Tennessee, earning a Bachelor of Arts in Cinema and Media Arts and Latin American Studies. Upon graduation, Stacy will be moving to New York City. Up next, we have Brandon Jacome Mendez from Morristown, Tennessee, earning a Bachelor of Arts in Chemistry. Brandon will be starting graduate school and then heading to medical school. Up next, we have Maria Camila Loaiza Bonilla from Lakeland, Florida, earning a Bachelor of Arts in English and Creative Writing. Upon graduation, Maria will be joining AmeriCorps before heading to graduate school. Up next, we have Jalen Manuel Martinez from Chicago, Illinois, earning a Bachelor of Arts in English and Creative Writing. Jalen will be gaining his teaching certification. Up next, we have Ella Polo from Lakeland, Florida, earning a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. Ella will be starting a job at American Express in Manhattan. Up next, we have Rebecca Brown Ramon from Palo Alto, California, earning a Bachelor of Arts in Latino and Latina Studies and Human and Organizational Development. Rebecca Becca will be starting a job at Boston Consulting Group. Up next, we have Tristan Rocha from Portland, Oregon, earning a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Spanish. Tristan will begin a job at the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. Up next, we have Gabby Luisa Rodriguez from Austin, Texas, earning a Bachelor of Arts in Anthropology and History of Art. Gabby will be starting graduate school at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Up next, we have Vanessa Senecal from Evanston, Illinois, earning a Bachelor of Arts in French. Vanessa will be taking a summer job while discovering more opportunities to use her foreign language major. Up next, we have Mila Sirkowski from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and Miami, Florida, earning a Bachelor of Arts in Law, History, and Society, and Medicine, Health, and Society. Mila will begin a fellowship with the Economic Justice Project in New York City. Up next, we have Ana Torres from Spring Hill, Florida, earning a Bachelor of Arts in Molecular and Cellular Biology. Ana will be starting medical school. And last but not least, as part of our undergraduate class of 2021, we have Emily Christine Vega from LaGrange, Illinois, earning a Bachelor of Arts in Neuroscience. Emily will begin a role as a life science consultant at Putnam Associates in Boston. And now please join me in recognizing our 2 graduate level students that will receive their stoles. Up first, please join me in welcoming and congratulating Marcelo Javier Galeano Perito, from Asunción, Paraguay, earning a Master of Education in Leadership and Organizational Performance. Marcelo will begin teaching and consulting in Paraguay. Congratulations, grads, once again. Give yourselves a huge round of applause. Now, representing the Student Center for Social Justice and Identity, I would like to make some closing remarks. Congratulations, graduates. Felicitaciones. Everyone here today is honored to be part of this ceremony that serves to celebrate and recognize your years of hard work. This is a moment for reflection, and I hope all of you feel an immense sense of accomplishment and pride. I want to extend a huge thank you to some of the people that made this ceremony this year possible. I know it was a difficult year, and we're still very much in a pandemic. And while a sense of normalcy is near, I do thank these following people for their support. Dean of Students Mark Bandas, Deputy Dean of Students G.L. Black, Dr. Ashley Brown, Director of SCSJI, Kother Gaber, Program Coordinator in SCSJI, ALA's President Laura Cardona, ALA's Senior Advisor Ana Torres. Without you, this event would not have been possible. I would also like to take a moment to thank our Latinx Graduates Recognition Ceremony 2021 committee. They were amazing, y'all. I just had to say that. A huge thank you and recognition goes to the following: Alyssa Aloyo, Program Coordinator in the Office of Inclusive Excellence; Ruth Howard, Licensed Psychologist, University Counseling Center; Will de los Santos, Program Coordinator, Student Organizations, Leadership and Service; Leslie Lemus, Area Coordinator, Office of Housing and Residential Experience; Jessica Prus, Association of Latin American Students Representative; Dr. Gretchen Selke, Director, Latino and Latina Studies Program. Graduating students, as your names were read, the people who love and support you were watching virtually, and I'm sure that they were also extremely proud and orgullosos. This year has been extremely difficult and trying, and you made it through to this moment. You've accomplished so much today, and we are so, so proud of you. Representation is important, and we hope today you have felt represented, celebrated, valued, and loved. We are counting on you to make your voices heard. I urge you to continue connecting with Vanderbilt, whether it be through an alumni level or other ways, and build a kind of future that supports the generations that will come after you. As we conclude today's celebration, we invite you to take your senior recuerdo, off to my left, your right, as well as a to-go lunchbox provided by 2 Peruvians in a truck with comida peruana that I promise you is delicioso. Graduates, I really thank you and congratulate you on your immense accomplishment. I have been lucky enough to be the advisor directly for most of you standing here today. And if I haven't, know that I value you just as much. These accomplishments are huge, and I hope that you remember this moment as you continue into the next stage of your life. Thank you so much, and congratulations to la clase de 2021. This concludes our program for today, so thank you so much for attending. Again, please don't forget your senior recuerdo and your to-go box of Peruvian food on your way out. If you would like to stay and take a few pictures on the stage, please make sure that you are 6 feet apart and wearing your mask. Again, thank you all so much.